You know what they say about third seasons?
What do they say?
It's the third season.
You're not wrong.
Ah, it's time for us to talk about some more Sailor Moon, like we
It
didn't
is.
talk about it last week or the week before. But hey, we got a new season to talk about. That's always exciting, right?
Mm.
Someone's not on the excitement train to Exciteville.
Somebody's a little salty.
Choo choo! Hello, welcome to Jared and I Watch Sailor Moon Crystal, episode number 27. I'm Jared. Anne Ladyem's over there.
I am. Hi, everybody.
Wherever there is.
On my couch in Virginia in my PJs.
Nice.
Yeah.
We are going to talk to you about the season 3 premiere, Act 27, Infinity 1, Premonition Part 1, because they, for some reason, thought that they had to cut this into 2 parts. Really, they didn't.
Mm-mm.
Let's be real.
Yeah, they didn't.
Oh, it's been such a long time since we talked about Sailor Moon. Do you remember what Sailor Moon is?
Not really. Not really.
It's a show I guess we watch occasionally.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, I think there's a girl involved.
There's like a couple.
Yeah. Wait, do you
Smooches
mean a
happen.
couple girls or like there's an actual couple?
I guess that both works.
Yeah, okay. There's a child and a cat
A lot
times
of cats.
2. Yeah, now I guess it's times 3.
Tiny cat.
Oh, I love Tiny Cat.
Tiny cats are here to stay. Well, we are back on our bullshit. So, welcome to Arc 3, the Deathbusters arc. Who are you gonna call? Deathbusters.
Wait, aren't they the villains? Don't
Yes.
call them.
Yes, who are you gonna call them? You gotta call Bad Dad Keith Silverstein up, and you'll be like, "What are you doing? You should not be here. I'm a bad dad."
Okay, so I do want to say though, I'm so happy he's here and he is straight up pulling out the Hawkmoth voice.
It's totally the same voice.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm buying it. You're a villain. I got you.
Which is funny because in this episode he portrays his good dad voice, which is just peppy. Keeps Silverstein.
Yeah, I guess you do get the duality of Keith Silverstein in this episode, don't you?
You get the duality of him and Tara Platt as well, since they're both parents and like, well, one of them's both parents, the other one is a parent and something else.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a funny coincidence. But hey, hello, we are back on season 3. We're going to talk to you about that. It's the 3rd arc. It's my favorite arc, but some things have happened in the time between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. Most notably, they completely revamped the animation style, which I know you obviously were not watching at the time.
Mm-mm.
But the general consensus coming out of season 2 was that this animation style isn't working. Like, a lot of the animation is just botched. And I guess like I didn't really hear a lot about season 2 in particular, so I think like they kind of finally found their groove when that season came to be. But the overwhelmingly negative opinions that came about for like the first couple of episodes, and how just like just the jank that was in those episodes permeated throughout like the entirety of that run. Essentially, it was the Xbox One and the DRM situation of anime, if you want to use that as a comparison. So by the time that, there'd been basically, I think, a year off between season 2 and season 3. So by the time 2016 comes around, they're like, hey, we're making another season of this. Here's your first look at it, and it just looks completely different. Also, we're changing it from bi-weekly to weekly, which I think that's probably one of the main reasons why they switched this more, traditional, I guess, traditional in the way that most modern animes look nowadays style, because it's easy to knock that stuff out in a week. And that's like just the general formula for weekly animes, that they look like that, essentially. You can get away with doing like different like styles and aesthetics when you're doing it bi-weekly like they did with the first 2 seasons. You're not going to get away with doing that when you're doing it weekly, I think. I think that's probably one of the main factors of why it looks the way it does. And also, they basically responded to the overwhelmingly negative opinions about the first 2 seasons and the animation style of that. And they thought, oh God, we need to do something and change this right away, or people are not going to watch this. And I think that's also, a big factor to it.
You clarified to me that I've watched the best versions of season 1 and 2, which
correct.
Yeah, I get that. But
and also, to be fair, you're not watching the best versions of season 3, I think.
Really?
Because I think this is just the straight up airings that happen on TV. I don't think these are like the touched up like home release versions.
Oh, okay.
Specifically just because like the credits and everything are still in Japanese and all that stuff.
Correct.
Which I don't think that would really change your opinion in the slightest way possible, really. It would probably look maybe a little bit better, but from what I've gathered from what you think of this, I don't think that would really sway you one way or the other.
Oh, I hate it. I absolutely hate the art. I freaking hate and detest everything about the new art. Like, it was appalling to me when I first started it, because we kind of wasn't that long between us going from last season to season 3, and I was like, yay, I'm so hyped. That was a good season. This is gonna be great. What the happened? Like, everybody is shiny and the art is weird, and I know that you kind of got on my case for calling it generic, but
I mean, you can call it generic.
It's pretty generic.
Because like I think like just like watching the first few episodes that we did, like I feel like you could definitely make the complaint that the show has a lot of same face syndrome, way more than it did in the first 2 seasons. Which you could kind of pick out here and there when they were doing it then, but here it definitely, I think, falls far more like prevalent. And I don't know if like that's something they'd fix for home release or not.
I think the issue though is that I understand that there was a lot of backlash against the original style, but I feel like they've made it so dang vanilla that I'm just like, okay, so they're not taking any risks at all with it now, because they want to make sure that like nobody will ever complain about this except for me.
I think that's a brilliant point, actually. Like it's a very safe style, and it's why like you could look at it and like place it up against like half the shows that are running this season, and it would probably look pretty similar in a sense. And it is kind of strange as well, because I feel like you're the only person I've ever heard who's had the inverse reaction to the animation styles. Who was like the first 2 seasons and then came to season 3 and was like, F this.
Well, and I was going to say this is minor, but it's really not minor. One of my real big issues with this art style is that they're actually sexualizing them a lot more, and I dislike that a lot. Mm-hmm. So with transformation sequences now, every single transformation sequence, we're getting butt cheeks, even on a 7-year-old.
Well, that
didn't happen.
It happens in the original anime.
But why?
Because that's just that's the magical girl genre.
But is it? Because
yes.
I've been reading the manga and it's not like that. And even
in
like
the
author,
in animes it is.
Right. But the author would even get like super mad if she saw anything. It's like, oh, her panties are showing. That's not how it's supposed to be. And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm on that. And then like the first 2 seasons didn't have that. And like they had the bodysuit and it covered everything.
I'm just saying, like, this has happened before. Like,
everybody's naked. Everybody's naked in the intro. Why is everybody naked? That doesn't need to happen.
that is definitely extreme. Like, I would agree with you. Like, I don't know why that's there, why it's what purpose it serves. Like, it doesn't really serve any purpose just to like to throw them there and just have no clothes on. Like, it's meaningless. But the transformation thing you mentioned, like I don't remember if they did it on Chibiusa or not in the original. I'd have to go back and look. But for everyone else, like it would be like the style that they have it, where like it's like stylized. They're basically naked, but you don't really see anything.
Right.
But you would see features like that. You would see like the butts and stuff.
But I mean, this one, once their bodysuit appears, like you specifically get a shot of their butts with the bodysuit on, with butt cheeks hanging out.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that's ridiculous. And maybe that's part of my complaint here, is that I feel like they're just trying to like straight up be as generic anime as possible. All right, well, anime shows people's butts. Let's show people's butts. Anime does this art style. Let's do this art style. It's just like anything that I thought was really unique and interesting about the first 2 seasons and how they were portraying it was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like, well, nobody liked that, so we have to go back to this style. I'm like, oh, no, because personally, as a woman who was really, really enjoying how people were portrayed and how things looked, and now it's like, okay, now everybody's naked. Cool. That's not like any other anime ever. Like, ugh.
Let me ask you this, because did you get a chance to read like any of the new stuff for the manga, like of this stuff?
I've read basically the equivalent of this episode.
Okay, what did you think of that compared to this?
In terms of the content, it was great.
Okay. Which I think that's going to be the key sticking point, because if I'm being honest with you, and I've mentioned this before, that like this is my favorite arc of Sailor Moon. If I was to rank it in terms of like of forms of media I've seen of it, of the manga, original anime, and Crystal, I would order them in that exact order, with the manga's the best version, the 90s anime comes second, and then Crystal's the last version.
Okay.
Because I like, even going back and rereading some of the stuff that like, you know, after we watched a couple of those episodes, like there's quite a few things that they leave out of the manga and so in Crystal, and just like some of the changes that they do use, it's like I don't really necessarily like, even though like the story is relatively the same. Like if you were like, hey, which of these would you rather prefer, I'd be like, go read the manga of this, because that's the best version.
And that's actually one of the things that I texted you when we first started this season. I was like, I know you said this is your favorite, and I really, really hope that the story makes up for it, because I hate what I'm seeing right now. I
think it will. Like if you throw away like just the animation style and Crystal aside, like this story does, I think, some real interesting things that hasn't been done in the series yet, and there are a lot of real dichotomies that you're not necessarily expecting that they throw at you as well. And it also just like how they portray different characters, and just like, especially for the time frame that the series came out, and how like they have certain characters in it in a country
it's pretty groundbreaking.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It legitimately is.
Like I think a lot of that stuff is just fantastic and super fascinating. And I think that's kind of like one of the reasons why like I just adore this arc so much. Is it does like so many new things, and even though it's doing all this like new story beats and characterizations and all of that, like it still feels like Sailor Moon. Like nothing about that changes. But yeah, like I completely understand where you're coming from in terms of not liking the graphic changes they made to Crystal.
Yeah, and you guys are experiencing like maybe a tenth of the awful text messages Jared got the entire time we were watching this, because I was livid.
I could tell you were
really, really upset. Like people can always tell when I'm mad in a text message, which is interesting because usually you have a hard time conveying actual emotions via text.
Mm-hmm.
But I could tell that you knew I was mad.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that I was going to offend you, because I know how much you really like this arc. So I was trying really hard to like be nice about it.
Right.
But it's nothing against the story. Absolutely nothing against the story, because everything I've read about the story so far, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm in. This is awesome.
Which I think I kind of was like getting a little upset like last night.
You were, I could tell.
Just because like it was just you dumping on it the entire time. Like, wait, no, there's good things to this, and like And like, I don't think I was able to convey that well, but look, this is the worst version of this arc you're gonna get.
Everybody's so shiny
Everyone's very shiny.
and naked.
For some reason, naked.
And like the opening and closing, I absolutely detest.
I mean, especially when you're coming from just ripping guitar licks, like, it is a bit of a step down. Like, I do say that, like, the final version of the opening you get is the best version because you get just the best harmonies and it sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And the endings are just like,
but Moon Pride had the harmonies.
well, it's because it's the same group that does it. That's why it's good.
I know.
The endings are a little bit strange just because you know, the first 2 seasons had the same ending, and in this one they have like 3 different endings.
Huh.
And I don't really know if this show needed 3 different endings, other than hey, we need to sell CDs.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's a lot of what this season tried to do, was make up for potential losses that they had for the first 2 seasons with merchandising the hell out of season 3 and trying to change the animation so it would appease everyone.
Yeah. But in my opinion, it's telling that I actually spent real money on Moon Pride and I want nothing to do with any of the new ones. Nothing. I spent money, guys. And
$1.29.
I am poor.
I don't even know if you can get like the other season openings on iTunes or not, so
even if I could, I wouldn't, because that would be equivalent to like me buying French fries, and I'm like, French fries are much better than this, even if it's one thing of French fries.
French fries are pretty good.
Yeah, French fries are delicious.
So I would give you that.
See, I got a good point. French fries.
Thanks, French fries.
Mm-hmm. You're my pal, French fries. You don't betray me.
So mad. It's real telling that we've gone almost like, how long have we been going? 17 and a half minutes, and we've yet to talk about the episode.
Yep.
I think like this.
You knew this was gonna happen.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, that's why I said, hey, we should do this so you can vent. One last thing before we move on and actually talk about the episode proper. I think the main reason why this is the way it is and why you're mad about it and why it looks so generic is because Toei Animation's doing it. And I don't think Toei Animation is that good as good as they think they are anymore. Like, if you look at how certain episodes of Dragon Ball Super have looked, if you look at barring your opinion aside,
I have very, very strong opinions, you guys.
And just like looking at how people have reacted to Crystal in terms of this season and the first 2 seasons, like they have a tight grip on big licenses. Like I think they have this, they have Dragon Ball. I think they might have One Piece as well, which is like that's a huge like bit of the pie, so to speak, in terms of anime. But you never really hear like any of those shows and like how, oh yeah, their animation's real good on a consistent basis. And even with Crystal, where it's like they're not doing that many episodes, the animation isn't great. Like it could be better. Like it could be a lot better. Like if you put this franchise in the hands of like any number of other studios, like a Lurch, like a Studio Dean, like give Kyoto Animation the Sailor Moon license and imagine what that show would look like.
That would be perfecto.
And you could just imagine like how much better they could make this series. And I think like that's just one of the unfortunate parts and one of the downfalls of this show is that it's with an animation company that still thinks it's the early 90s and they're in their heyday when it's 2017 and they're not. Like they have these big licenses, but I don't think they're giving them their full potential. But that's just my 2 cents on the matter. I have a quarter and a nickel. I'm gonna rub them together and say that's my 2 cents on the matter.
And I'm just a grump. I don't have any money on me, so you don't get any money. I have what do I have? I have a little 1-Up mushroom. That's all I've got. It makes sound.
It's a poison 1-Up mushroom right now.
It just makes sounds if you press a button. I don't think I can do that though, because we'll get sued.
Nintendo would murder us. Reggie would come and just beat my ass.
I mean,
you know he would.
Would you be really upset though? Like, you could tell people that you got your ass beat by Reggie Fils-Aimé.
I'd tell him I put up a fight.
Yeah.
Even though it's totally not true.
Yeah, no, Reggie's huge.
Let's talk about this episode. I guess while we still have time, this is going to be like the longest episode we've done ever, because we're already at 20 minutes and you've yet to talk about this episode.
To be fair, there isn't a whole lot like in this episode introduction that
especially because they stretch it out into 2 episodes, which it doesn't need.
It doesn't need it,
because the latter half of both of this episode and part 2, which we'll talk about next week, like half of the latter half of the episode is transformation sequences.
Yep.
And that's like, it's like, hey, we get it. You really want to show off these new transformation sequences you did because you're not doing them in CG anymore, and people are real happy about that.
They're not as good.
But like, you don't really need to show them off in sequence for
single one of them.
6 to 7 different people both times. Like this, by the time you get through it on the second episode, you're like, yeah, we get it. We get the point.
Yeah, they transformed. We got it.
But anyways, so we start this episode. Usagi is like, hello, I'm late to school. What a shocker. I've also have this new accent.
And she also introduces everybody again.
Yeah. She kind of does that in the manga. Like she basically kind of like gives like a brief recap of like some like things that happened last time, but she's not reintroducing everyone. But that was, I think, basically like, hey, I think I mentioned this to you yesterday. It was like,
it's a soft reboot.
It's a soft reboot of the series, so they have to kind of do this. Which is silly. Were you gonna say something?
No, I'm trying to remember like how it started, because I know that it's got like Usagi being late, and then Chibiusa's talking about needing to eat breakfast because it's the most important meal of the day. It's just funny. And Mamoru's grumpy.
Mamoru's grumpy because Usagi's late. Usagi's dad talks about de-evolution or whatever because of that news report.
That was funny. She's like, let's just talk about de-evolution real quick. We're going to have a little lesson. Like, I wonder if this is going to become relevant anytime soon. Nope. Never comes up again. That's a lie. It does come up again.
No. I guess also we start the episode with a mysterious voice. Ooh. And a mysterious lady. Who we learn the mysterious voice is Pharaoh 90, which he has a cool deep voice and sounds villainous, not like Wise Man, thankfully.
Pharaoh 90 reminds me of like Eiffel 65.
He's blue, dabba dee dabba da.
That's the only thing I could think of when I read his name. I'm like, is he like a really bad 90s techno group? Like, who is Pharaoh 90?
Well, we'll learn about him later on.
All right, we don't know who he is yet. We get some witches.
Yeah, well, we don't get the witches 5 until I think next episode.
Oh,
but we got a lot of premonitions. Like Mamoru wakes up, Ray gets startled. Everyone's having all these premonitions, and then we get into Usagi being late and all that jazz.
Ah, yeah, you're right.
Anyways, what else happens? Oh, Usagi goes to the arcade. This is where she reintroduces everyone. They play this new hot arcade game, which it's a racing game, but you somehow need to wear a helmet for it.
That was so weird.
Yeah. Oh, I guess before this also we get briefly introduced to 2 new characters.
Mm-hmm.
One's swimming, one's a race car driver.
With a helicopter.
They both have helicopters.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I don't even like helicopters because of heights, but like, I'd be pretty impressed if someone's like, I have a helicopter. There's
a scene featuring the helicopter in basically the next episode that we will have to watch, which is real ridiculous. So look forward to that. So yeah, we get kind of introduced to them, and then we re-meet the same race car driver in the arcade.
Mm-hmm. Playing the race car game.
Yes, playing the race car game. And then Makoto and Minako are extremely crushing over this person. And Usagi's like, Meanwhile, on outside, Mamoru bumps into the other person we were introduced who was swimming. She dropped her mirror, and she says that Mamoru was probably a prince in his former life. And he's like, well, that's a strange thing to say.
You just met me.
You just met me. What? I just...
He talks just like a prince all the time
Yes.
while he's doing this. What do you mean? Why are we both making them French?
I don't know, because it's funnier. Mamoru is a Frenchman. His way is pretty funny.
Well, you made Usagi French too.
That's we're just watching the French dub. So
Did we
Sorry.
get the theme park this episode?
The theme park is next episode, I think.
Okay.
Yes, next. No, yeah.
Did we get the phone call about the theme park this episode, maybe?
I don't remember, actually.
This is why it should have been one episode and not two.
That's true. I think it's next episode because that's the second part. Because there's another battle, and that's when that stuff happens. I think it's next episode.
Okay.
I'm like 75% sure. At least we'll figure that out next time. But
Okay.
we do have a fight here in the middle of the street. So they transform and fight this Damon, who is taking over this young schoolgirl. All the while, everyone else is just watching on, which is kind of the weirdest part.
Yeah, that was weird.
Especially like after they save her, and like Makoto, I think, is like, "Get this girl to the hospital," and everyone's like, "Oh, okay." Which, I mean, granted, if you read Codename Sailor V, like Sailor V's in the news all the time, so like everyone's kind of aware of her. So I guess it would be reason to believe that everyone would be aware of the Sailor Guardians to some extent. Yeah. It's just weird because like you never see civilians
Interacting,
and then like that many of them in the same space that like a fight's going on. But yeah, that's basically, and then like, yeah, there was like 30 minutes of transformations before that fight happened.
Yeah, it took forever. And like we were saying earlier, by the time that like you get to the second episode and they do it again, you're like, okay, I got it. And like this is coming from two people who are like, magical girls are the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's like eventually you kind of get transformation overload. You gotta pull it back a little bit, guys.
Right. I think that's where the episode ends. I could be wrong. But like I said,
believe you.
They do split this because this is one chapter in the manga, and they for some reason decided to split it up, and I really don't think that it needed to be split up. The only reason like I think they try to is because they start to deviate from the way the manga chapters are structured. Because like at the end of the first chapter of Arc 3, what happens there is that's when you see Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon transform right before the fight that we'll talk about next week. But in this, they include all of that fight, which is basically the beginning of the next chapter in the manga. So things are going to start to deviate from what you think. And it's real weird, and I don't think it really benefits from that, to be honest.
Yeah, especially because like last season they pretty much stuck to it.
Yeah. So like I don't really understand why they would do this.
Shrug shoulders.
Yeah. Anyways, you want to talk about some changes?
Besides it sucking in terms of art, yeah.
I mean, surprisingly, they changed the animation style is not one of the changes on this list. Because it's not from the manga or the original anime. Changes from the manga. Ami, Rei, Makoto, and Minako transform via planet power on their own power without using transformation devices. Which it was weird to see the old transformation sticks that they have being used with their new power.
Mm-hmm.
Because we will see like new and improved ones later on this season. It is never shown how the student became possessed with a daemon, nor do the daemon eggs make an appearance, which they do in here. And I think the reason they have them in here in Crystal is because it's a callback to the original anime. Which I think that's going to be something that's going to be interesting for you, because with the way they have that, and with you've basically seen in the first couple episodes how they've really become more trying to push the comedy side of Sailor Moon.
Yep.
And like how expressive they are and everything. That really feels like it's, hey, this is nostalgia for the original anime. Which, I mean, like, granted, the manga does have some of that stuff, but I think the original anime kind of took it to another step, and it feels like this is kind of trying to go towards where the original anime was, and kind of going a little bit of ways from how the manga handles that stuff.
So I will miss out on some of that nostalgia stuff there.
Yeah, I guess that'd be the case. Sailor Mercury doesn't use her goggles to scan the daemon to reveal a student trapped within it. And here's your changes from the original anime, which there's a lot. Usagi transformed with moon crystal power for the last time, as the mystical crystal star brooch was shattered by a daemon soon after. This was also the last time she had the cutie moon rods attack Moon Princess Halation, which proved to be ineffective. The silver crystal inside the cosmic moon compact never reacted whenever daemon were around. Usagi and Minako were the only ones who fell for Haruka, believing that she was a male. Hotaru did not appear... What?
Spoilers?
Oh, I mean, it's not really that difficult to figure out.
It's not a secret.
It's not a secret. Hotaru did not appear until the reappearance of... and after the mystical Holy Grail was revealed and gained by... there's some spoilers in that one. Like, legitimate spoilers.
All right.
Pharaoh 90 had no actual lines other than growls and gave no spoken commands to the Death Brothers whatsoever, appearing only at the end of the Sailor Moon S season. It's true. The Tauron crystal never appeared in the original anime. The stronger elemental attacks Jupiter Coconut Cyclone and Venus Wind Chain Sword were never used. Your favorite attack, Jupiter Coconut Cyclone.
I was so confused. I texted you. I was like, did she just say coconut?
Yep. Usagi's parents never appeared in the third season. We'll address that one later.
All right.
Well, this one, or that one specifically, the one I did not read. Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus were never granted stronger planet powers, nor used the command planet power in season 3. Daemon eggs were white and were used to take possession of inanimate objects, not living creatures. It was suspected one monster in a flashback was a daemon due to its similar appearance of the generic manga daemon, though it showed no evidence in the anime of being connected to the Deathbusters. So basically, in the original show, like, you would see a lot of, like, Witches 5 and the Deathbusters in, like, this laboratory, and they would take the daemon eggs and then, like, just something else, like an ordinary object, like, I don't know, like a phone, and they would mush. Basically, they had this device that would, like, combine the two, and that's how you get your, like, essentially that would be your monster of the week.
Oh,
and that's how they did that. Also, Mugen Academy was never mentioned or suspected to be linked to the daemon attacks or the headquarters of Deathbusters until very late in season 3, and that's basically it.
In the manga version that I'm reading, they call it Infinity Academy.
I think that's because, like, Mugen roughly translates to Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not what I want, Google. I don't want Mugen the fighting game thing.
They've also just stopped translating people's names.
Yeah, that's the strangest thing.
Like, we're all Japanese now. Except for the ones of us who were not Japanese to begin with. We're still going to be Americanized.
Yeah, Infinity in Japanese is Mugen.
Okay.
Which is something that really threw me off when I was playing through Sailor Moon Another Story, because that's also how they translate it. They're like, it's the Infinity School. And I was like, what the hell is the Infinity School? But yeah, like like you were saying, it's super weird how, for some reason, I feel like I read this when I was researching the Sailor Moon manga for my paper, because I think when they got the license for the manga, they started with season 3 or arc 3, and basically they redid, or they kept, like, the original Senshi's names, because I think arc 3 hadn't aired in America yet. So they kept like the original Americanized names, but also kept the Japanese names for the new characters. It was something real weird about, like, how, like, they brought the manga over, or, like, they had done some of the first couple of arcs, and then did like another imprint and did the third arc while the first two were still going on. It's real confusing. I'd have to go.
Some of the names
research
in the second arc were not translated either.
Right.
But it was like minor characters, like Boob Grab McGee, Boy Crush,
Man Crush.
Yeah, Man Crush. He was Japanese.
So yeah.
But then you still had Melvin.
Melvin. Oh.
And Andy, the arcade boy.
Our favorite Melvin. What a good boy. So yeah, do you want to get anything else off your chest before we head off to the great beyond?
That's an REM song.
Is it really?
It is.
Of course you would know that.
No, I'm excited for the story, but I'm still real salty in general.
Are you saying in general, like just in life, or for this?
I mean, can't it be both?
True, it can.
But I was specifically referring to this because I'm really, really not happy with it.
All right. But
I believe in you enough.
Thanks.
That I'm like, you know what? The story's got to be good because this is Jared's favorite. So even if the art is, I do believe in you. Even if the art is literal trash, I'm in it for the story. So also stop making everybody so shiny. Not everybody has to be so shiny.
They really shined them up real good. Put a lot of spit polish on them.
Ugh.
That's the squeaky clean sound you know and love. All right. Next time, we will talk about Act 27. Wait, we just talked about it. Just kidding. We're going to talk about it again with Infinity 1 Premonition Part 2.
That should have been part of Part 1.
But should have been part of Part 1. Yeah. Dark shoulders.
Meh.
So yeah, look forward to that. And if you want more information from us, go to seasonanimecheckup.com or sec.cool for past episodes of this, where you can listen to us talk about seasons 1 and 2, the Season Anime Checkup and Season Anime Checkup OVA podcast, columns, and reviews. If you want more from Anne Ladyem, go to anneladyem.com for her columns and reviews and just pictures of salt.
Pretty much, yeah. Just piles and piles of salt.
The salt mines are located there.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/animecheckup, where we post a lot of pictures of Pepper. And
you can also feel free to talk to us about how much this art style is garbage.
They're all going to be like, you guys are wrong. Go yourselves.
I will fight them because they're wrong.
Whoa, shots fired.
Yeah.
Bleh, bleh. Anyways, next time we will talk about the second part of this episode and be like, well, that was a lot of transformation sequences, I guess.
We're going to go to the theme part.